Well, I asked my boss if I could go home early because all the decorations in the backyard had to be moved to the front yard for the trick-or-treaters. And last Halloween, trick-or-treaters were arriving when I drove up in the driveway. So I wanted to get home early to move all the stuff and be prepared so I didn't feel all flustered and rushing because trick-or-treaters wanted their candy right then and my yard wasn't done up and they were missing the fabulousness that is my yard because Halloween, I love Halloween. So I am driving down the main street that leads to my neighborhood, and all of a sudden cops start passing me with their lights going, and they're going on the side and getting around. I'm like, okay, what, something's happened. Cops, woo! And it was, apparently something had happened because if it had just been one cop, then everyone assumes that they, just don't want to be behind traffic, and so they turn on their lights to get by. Yeah, sorry. Well, I get to my neighborhood, and I see that some cops are turning into my neighborhood. Oh, so Jedediah, you're on... Oh, my subscriptions, duh. I thought it was showing, videos being watched right now, but it's not. 4 days ago, girls don't like something. Nice eye makeup. Yeah. So I noticed they're turning into my neighborhood, and my first thought is, because I always go to the extreme, is, oh my god, my house is on fire, everything is burning, I'm going to lose it all. I get into my neighborhood, and there's nothing happening. I don't see any cops nearby or anything, so I'm like, oh, well, it must be somewhere else. Whew. For me, anyway. I go and I get mail, because our mailboxes aren't in front of our houses like normal houses. We live in one of those neighborhoods where there's a shared, post office box looking thing down the street, and so I always drive by and pick up mail and then go to the house. When I was getting mail, I noticed there were plumes of smoke, and they were close, like at the end of our street. And I was like, crap, someone's house is on fire. That really sucks. But it's not mine. Yay! So I parked the car and I walked to the end of the driveway like, one of those busybody neighbors that you always see in shows, and I'm looking down the street trying to see if I can see something, and I can't. My neighbor and his daughter come out of their house, and all of a sudden a cop pulls up behind me because there's an intersection of a street right at our street. Gets out of his car, walks around to the back, pops the trunk, and pulls out an automatic rifle. And then walks to the center of the street with his automatic rifle right in front of my house. And he asks me and the neighbor, did we see anybody running that way? I'm like, no. And I think to myself, you have a gun. Either who you're after also have guns, or you just have a gun and at some point you may have to shoot. So I'm going to be going in the house, thanks. So I went inside. I was a little freaked out. Okay, maybe more than a little freaked out. But I was also a little irritated because I got off early to come home and then I couldn't decorate the front yard for Halloween. Not that I was angry at the cops because they're doing what they need to do. I was just like, is Halloween going to happen? So I hung out in the house and I called my boyfriend and I told him, if you come home early, don't freak out because there's a cop with an automatic rifle in the middle of the street. I go out in the backyard to let the puppy out. I smoke. I hear someone coming up the side. I figure it's the cop because he's looking in backyards. There's kind of a trail behind our house that separates us from the other street behind us. And there were cop cars all back there, and they were driving up and down this trail. I mean, it's pretty much a walking trail around the street behind us. So I go back in the house, and I hear the cop in the front talking to people in the street and stuff. So I kind of walk out there, and he's now standing in my driveway with his automatic rifle. And I ask, can I come out here? And he was kind of like, I guess, sure, yeah. And I was like, no, you don't understand. I was planning on decorating the front yard for Halloween. And so I'll be out here a while if I'm coming out here. And he goes, well, some armed bank robbers just robbed a bank. He didn't put it like that because that's redundant. But anyway, some people just robbed a bank and they're armed. And we're looking for them around here. He's like, you probably don't want to be out. I was like, no problem, you got it. I'm going inside. So I go inside and I spend about the next 2 hours telling a lot of my friends on IM and looking up on the internet to see if, the news have anything about it, which of course they didn't, which might have been good because maybe these robbers. Oh, while I was out there, before I came back in, I asked him, I was like, well, do you know what that smoke is from? And he goes, it's their car. I later found out that they crashed their car and it burst into flame, and they caught one of them there. They caught another one 2 doors down from where I live in that trail area, and the third one could possibly still be at large, but they think he ran north. So for 2 hours, cops are outside, in the front and the back. Helicopters are flying over. I keep peeking through the window, and of course my paranoia kicks in, and I'm thinking the cops outside think that I could possibly be... Oh, I checked my entire house too. I was like, are you here? But finally, I walked over to one of the cop cars that was sitting out in front of the house because the cops in the back had left. Because I wanted to know if it was safe yet to come out and put up my Halloween decorations. And I didn't want them to think the reason I kept looking out there was because the criminals were in here and I was trying to see if they were gone yet so they'd get a clean getaway. So I was like, is it okay? And he was like, well, wait for my car to go and wait for the helicopter to stop flying over. So it was quite a bizarre Halloween. That was, no, not a happy camper. So hopefully they caught them all, but I just wanted to share that.